Monster Integration by N1. Chapter 481 Heat. This is a good place, I thought half an hour later after I took out blacklist flower out runic restrictions. Finding the good to set up an abode is a very difficult task. I have to search for half an hour before I found the good place to set off my abode. It is well hidden and my abode could make exit points within the 100-meter range without facing any problem. I activated my abode and started placing the sensors and cameras around the camp before entering inside my abode. After entering about, I want to start cooking right then, but I am so filthy that have to go take a shower first. Choo choo. Ashlyn started chirping me loudly as I get out of the bathroom after taking a quick shower. She wants me to make the dinner quickly as possible and she is also demanding one other thing. Standing in front of the small kitchen counter, I take out the two boxes. Both of them contain the snake parts but their value is different. One box contains the viper's meat and others contain viper's gallbladder, which is one of the important parts of the snake but also very dangerous as sometimes it is known to give severe side effects. This is why I have decided against eating it. I will it when I confirmed it is safe to eat. There are many monster expert in Fort Cavendish that one could consult to. We will eat when we go back home, I said to Ashlyn. I put the box with snake gallbladder back into the storage and started to make the dinner with the meat of the viper. FRRYYY. Just as I added the meat in the oiled pot, a wonderful smell started to come out of the meat. Not only it had the smell of snake meat but there is also the heavy smell of medicine in it. This bastard of the viper must have eaten lots of precious plants, otherwise it would not have become this strong this early. After killing it, I have remembered the name of the viper from the documents of the Ephirian ruin. This snake is one of the most common monsters with mediocre strength known as fern snake. I would have easily able to kill the normal major stage fern snake, but this fern snake that had grown up in garden and only being at sergeant stage had nearly killed me. If such low-level monster could grow this powerful eating the precious plants in the garden, then what will happen if the monster of higher species and potential grown in the garden? It would be a terror. From what I have seen in the day, there are not many monsters in the garden, otherwise seeing the rate of their growth they would have scourged the garden apart. So there must be fairly fewer monsters in the garden, but each of it will be very powerful seeing they have all grown up eating the precious plants in the garden. I have to be very careful of them. I have barely able to defeat this one. If I come across the stronger one, then I will have no chance but to run. Ashlyn makes a fire a little stronger, I asked Ashlyn. This viper's meat could not be cooked by the fire provided by abode despite its fire being quite hot. I have to shut gas seeing it's no use and ask Ashlyn to provide the fire. With Ashlyn's control over fire and sunfire rule, I didn't have to be worried about it getting burned by it. It was a good thing that I brought special utensil which could bear the strong head. If I were to use the normal utensils they would have meted in the 5 minuets. It took more than an hour to viper's dish, but when it was made, it smelled heavenly that Ashlyn nearly leaped at the pot. If not for me stopping her on time she would have definitely eaten from the pot. Now you can eat it, Ashlyn. I said to Ashlyn as I finished making a plate. I was halfway into my sentence when Ashlyn leaped at it and started to eat faster than her regular fast speed. Shaking my head seeing her eating speed, I also started to eat hoping it will taste as heavenly as it smells. I couldn't help but make a sound as I took the bite. It is very tasty. I have never tasted anything so delicious before. Not only the flavor of meat, but there is also the flavor of various herbs that are hard pinned down in one word, and that's the flavor that made this dish so delicious. I kept taking one bite after another, wanted to eat as much as I can. One thing that baffled me though, eating this meat which had the power of precious plants stuffed in it, I should be able to feel something, but except for the deliciousness, I am not feeling anything. That really baffled, but I did not think about it much as I kept eating this deliciousness. I had made dinner more as usual, so I keep half to eat tomorrow, but this dish was so delicious that Ashlyn and I had finished completely till there is nothing left in the pot. By the time we had finished, both of our stomachs had been bloated to the limit and we laid tiredly on our respected places. Laying on the bed, I was just thinking about the reason why I am not feeling anything when I felt warm heat rising from my body, but I did not look at it as it is normal occurrence that digestion of meat produced, but the time passed the heat started to get hotter and hotter till I started to sweat. I got alarmed by the heat that spread in my body and every second that heat is increasing. The heat immunity I have seemed to have no use against this heat, otherwise this temperature wouldn't have been able to affect me much. The heat kept increasing, my normal skin started to turn red. Seeing I am slowly becoming red, I got really scared and quickly started to think of a way to stop this hotness getting further hot. Now I have no question in my mind that this is all happening because of the viper's meat. This is the monster meat effect that I had been desperately waiting for. I quickly started to search for a way to stop this. Currently, my body is strong enough to endure the heat, but when it will increase further, there will be danger of it affecting my brain and melting it or even directly cooking me like shrimp. I worriedly looked at the Ashlyn, but her cute palm-sized body looked absolutely fine, as if she had not eaten this explosive meat but normal meat we regularly eat. Seeing that, I got relieved but also jealous, as no problem seemed to affect Ashlyn no matter how big it is, even the blood of the king stage monster lying docile in her source. My body had completely turned red as cooked shrimp, and I am feeling that it will reach its limit soon, and if I didn't do something by then I will suffer disastrous consequences. Fuck it, I said loudly, and quickly placed Ashlyn in the kitchen counter and dissolved the table and bed to make enough space for me to perform body cleansing technique and supreme combat exercise. Chapter 482 Advancing. Body cleansing technique and supreme combat exercise has brought me out of trouble many times. This time also they will get me out of this dangerous predicament. I have already removed my clothes earlier, so just as the table and bed dissolved, I got into the center of the room and started to perform the body cleansing technique and circulating the supreme combat exercise. I was not planning to perform the body cleansing exercise in the Ephirian ruin, as completely zapped one's physically and mentally and leaves one completely indefensible. I didn't want to lie on the ground like dead fish when the enemy came and finished me off without me putting even a bit of resistance against it. As I was performing, I looked at taking the strand of my mental energy, looked inside me, and was shocked by what I saw. Inside me there was a flood of green medicine energy. Every part of my body is getting stuffed with medicine energy, and as the more meat get digested by my body, the more green energy spread inside my body. I fucking got scared seeing this. There is no question that the green energy is medicinal energy, and when I looked at how much meat I had digested, I fucking got scared. I have barely digested the 1/4 of meat. There is still little more than 75% left to digest. Just how much herbs that fucking viper ate to have this fucking much of medicine energy inside. I had barely eaten half a kilogram of meat, but that was enough to stuff me and pop me up like a balloon. First, 24 poses went blur as I only felt minuet resistance, but when I started to go above 24th, I started to feel light resistance. I have to be faster. There is barely any effect showing, and it is getting pumped up in me more and more. I have to be faster, otherwise I will pop up like a balloon. I started to perform faster and faster. I have never been this faster performing the body cleansing technique. Soon I reached the 48th pose and the medicine energy in me started to reach the peak. I have to quickly take out the energy of miracle fruit, only it will be able to help me with this medicine energy, but it will be difficult. When I leveled up, I had reached the 72nd pose, so if I have to summon out the energy of miracle fruit, then I will have to perform till 76th or 78th pose. Only reaching then will the energy of miracle fruit will come out to eat this medicine energy, but I am nowhere close to the 78th pose, and medicinal energy in me had already reached the limit I could bear. My condition had gone so bad that there is faint smoke coming out of my body, and the medicinal energy, which had the healing nature, has now turned completely to its nature and started harming. Seeing that increased my speed again, I started to give my all performing the technique, holding back nothing. With such intense speed, I had reached the 60th pose and started to go even further. As I was performing, I had noticed that some of the green energy is merging with my body, and normally this amount would not be small, but currently my body is holding an immense amount of medicinal energy and more coming every second, so the medicinal energy that is merging with my body is not much. But I am still very happy seeing the medicinal energy merging in my body. With every speck of medicinal energy in my body, not only my body's healing speed would increase, but it would also make it stronger bit by it. Dip. My body had reached its limit, and now the green energy has started injuring heavily, and the drop that just fell was the drop of my blood that came out of my ear. I am getting more and more injured every second, as there are signs of bloating and tearing of skin could be seen all over my body, but there is also hope. I have reached the 72nd pose and now slowly moving forward. More and more medicinal energy is merging in my body, thus making it stronger and healing some of my injuries. Its effects now are barely noticeable. If I kept merging this medicinal energy that came from monster meat for a long while, I will sure able to get fast healing and strong body. I have decided if I had survived now then from tomorrow, I will equally focus on hunting monsters as I would be searching the plants in the top 3 lists, and for me, the value of these medicinal monsters are extreme. Every part of their body is filled with the medicine essence, even their bones which I throw are flooded with medicinal essence. It was a good thing I have not to throw away the bones of the monster that I usually do. I will have to storage them in the precious medicine boxes instead of the normal boxes later on. Drip drip drip. Blood constantly dripped on the floor, but I also moved forward. Now I am at the 75th pose and have to perform 2 to 3 poses maximum, and energy of miracle fruit will come out to guzzle all this medicine energy. The only problem I am having is my speed is very slow. I have become slow as a snail and nearly out of energy, but it is the fear of death that is helping me move forward. 76th, 77th, 78th. I had finally reached 78th, but there was no miracle fruit energy. Seeing that, I felt like I had been struck with the thunder, as I am already on my last leg. Going any further would be extremely hard, but if I didn't go then Thin's medicinal energy will pop me up like a balloon, so I have to advance further. I wanted it as not. I gritted my teeth and used every ounce of energy to move, and even if I am completely dried with the energy, I dig out ounces of energy hidden with my will and move forward. 79, 80th, I really might die, I thought as I saw no miracle energy coming out, but having no choice I moved forward through the sheer will. This movement started to remind me of the similar condition I was in about 6 months ago. 3 fatties had fed me the monster core. That time also the fiery berserk energy had torn my body apart. From that I was bleeding from every part of my body. The only difference between the 2 conditions is that the energy rampaging inside me is that of the opposite nature, but due to the sheer quantity of it they are producing the same effect. The healing energy could also kill, no matter how good the thing is. If it's excessive then it can kill. Just as I understood this simple principle from the heart, a shudder went through my source, and the bloody ribbon that was present in my source started to grow longer and longer, while its color started becoming more bloodier and edges sharper. My rule of killing is advancing. Chapter 483. Shocking. I have always thought that my rule of killing would advance when I am fighting an intense fight, or I or my enemy or both producing terrifying killing intent. That is when I will get inspiration to break of low level, but I have never expected that I will have my rule power advance when I am verge of death in safety of my abode. I didn't notice that when I was full of joy due to advancement in rule, I continually kept performing, and just as I reached the 83rd pose, the miracle fruit energy came out and started guzzling medicinal energy like crazy. The bloody ribbon inside me continuously growing, and the aura of it started to get stronger and stronger. The ribbon quickly took the place of feather and started to suppress it. To be honest, I thought it would be Sunfire rule that would advance first to mid-level of basic, as it is infinitely closer to reaching mid-level. I would just need a tiny amount of insight, but I was wrong. I had understood the principle of killing, which directly advanced my killing rule to the mid-stage. Suddenly there was slight change occur in the ribbon. Bright blood color that ribbon excludes started to become soft, and its aura also started to become milder. Though it had become milder, its might stayed the same, even increased, I may say. Is this the insight I have myself comprehended? Most of my killing rule earlier was based on the killing rule I've sensed from the white axe, which has had the flavor of rage and madness. I had tried to stay away far as possible from that rage and madness when I was comprehending the rule, but that flavor of rage and madness affected my killing intent a little. But I had made a big leap with the comprehension I myself comprehended, and because of that there was a slight change in the representation of my rule. The ribbon kept growing for a while before stopping. Finally, the aura of it became many times stronger than before. Now I have the power to easily beat the 5th challenger in the guild changed, which means I am quite close to having the power of the 2-star elite. Even if I have come across the normal 2-star elite, I will be able to run away from it with my life in my hand. I would not be completely powerless against it. Ashlyn had somehow sensed my rule power had advanced and entered inside me, and now the red ribbon in source shining its bloody light on my source, which in turn transmitted it to the projection of Ashlyn's source, and Ashlyn's source transmitted into the bloody ribbon in her source. The insight that I have gained just now is imprinting into Ashlyn's source. Her killing rule also started getting stronger and stronger until it became strong enough of mine. I was just watching the process of imprinting when I smelled the very familiar foul smell and instantly opened my eyes, to see my body is unconsciously performing body cleansing exercise, and it had reached the 84th move, and because of that my body is going through the 7th minor cleansing and hence the smell. That's not the only thing happening. The miracle fruit energy has come at it and now speedily eating the medicinal energy. The miracle fruit energy's eating speed is still slow, as it is barely maintaining the balance in my body, as it is eating the medicinal energy, the new medicinal energy filling my body from the meat that just digested. I am not worried though, because the more medicinal energy the miracle fruit energy ate, the bigger its size will become, and the bigger size is equal to higher eating speed. So, as long as I kept performing body cleansing technique, I will not have to be worried about getting popped like a balloon. Currently, I have no energy left in my body, but I still kept performing, as I know stopping means getting popped up like a balloon. And there one other thing, that is the growth of the miracle fruit energy. The size of miracle fruit energy is growing at the visible rate. If it kept growing in this rate, the process I thought which would take months to collect the required energy to help me level up to the mid-level of the master stage, but now with this meat, I would need just 3 weeks maximum. The only regret is that I am in the Ephirian ruin, where I could not practice the body cleansing exercise without fearing some monster would attack me and I wouldn't have the energy to defend. But no worries, here I would mostly focus on the collecting monster, and after I reached home, I will eat this meat and practice, so I would level up quickly. From tomorrow, I would mostly focus on killing these monsters, as only these monsters have what I need to level up quickly. If I collect them enough, then I would even able to realize the dream that I have dreamed since childhood. I had this confidence because the mutation that is occurring in the miracle energy, through that mutation is only finished about 5%. It had increased the speed of swallowing very much compared to before. Currently, its speed of swallowing already is 5 times greater than it was when the mutation was about to begin, and if it kept increasing and reached at least 50%, then with such speed, I would be able to level faster than I've ever dreamed. It's finally digested. I said in my mind, as all the viper's meat I have had eaten before had completely digested, and so, there will no more medicinal energy will be coming to my body. I continued performing 84th pose over and over, as I do not have energy in my body to move forward, this continuing taking all the willpower I have, if not that there is lots of medicinal energy present in my body that could still heavily injure me, even kill me. I would have fallen into the floor. Thud. Bit by bit, energy of the medicine energy got swallowed by the energy of the miracle fruit, till there is not a speck of energy remain in me, and seeing that, I finally took a sigh of relief and fell on the floor. I laid on the floor like a dead dog, smelling the very foul smell that is coming out my body. I very much wanted to vomit, but I do not the energy to do. It barely had been minuet when I sensed the shocking change in my body when I casually scanned my body with my mental sense. Seeing that, I became extremely startled and heavily concentrated on a single injury with my mental sense, only to see the remaining green energy in my body healing the injuries at a visible rate. If that was not shocking enough, a minuet later I found I was able to twitch my fingers, which normally took me near half an hour to do that. Chapter 484. 1 hour. I sat on the floor with a dazed look. It had been 10 minutes since I finished performing body cleaning technique. I should have been lying on the floor like a dead dog, but I am currently sitting the floor, able to move my hands at my will, and the shocking thing is I am feeling only slightly tired, and that slight tiredness also going away at visible. Got up and tried few buttons on the control panel of the abode, and soon suction could be felt across the room, and a few seconds later beautiful fragrance is spread, the drowning the whatever foul smell that had remained. But I am still feeling the foul smell, as the source of the foul smell is me. As long as I didn't clean myself thoroughly, the foul smell would not be gone. Without wasting time, I went to the shower and cleaned myself thoroughly, and only came out only when I started to smell like a flower. When I came out, I found all the physical tiredness I am feeling is gone. If not for me feeling a little tired mentally, I would have thought I have never performed the body cleansing exercise. After wearing a fresh set of clothes, I went to the eye again, took out 1 box of monster meat and started to cook it. It is for tomorrow. After waking up tomorrow, I don't think I will have time to cook. Seeing the effect of the medicine energy in the monster's body, I have decided to practice body cleansing technique daily 2 times a day. The thing I was most worried about had completely vanished, as through the medicine energy I could fully able to recover within 15 minutes. Even if the enemy attacked my abode while I am lying weak, it would still take it more than 15 minutes to break the defenses of my abode. It took me little more than 1 hour to cook the lunch for tomorrow when Ashlyn demanded to eat it again. I had already guessed that she will demand it, and that is why I made it a little extra. Ashlyn, today I will sleep first, you keep the watch, I said to Ashlyn as I laid on the bed. Usually, it is I who took the first watch, but seeing I am planning to practice the body combat exercise 2 times a day, I decided to sleep first. In that way not only I could practice body combat exercise, but I can also get time to rest my body and mind before going out, so the sleeping early is the best option for me. I was woken up by the alarm 6 hours later, and when I woke up, I found Ashlyn is looking at security feed with concentration. Good girl. You can sleep now, Ashlyn, I said to her, chirping one more time. She laid on the small bed that placed on the kitchen counter. She usually sleeps on B or bed, but today she had to sleep on the small bed as I will needing the space for the practice. I quickly freshened up and started to eat the dish made of snake's meat. It feels a little weird eating this late at night, but the deliciousness of the dish enough evaporated. Before heat could spread in my body, I quickly took off my clothes and started performing body cleansing technique and supreme combat exercise. I was in a hurry because I have eaten a similar amount of meat as yesterday, and I know how terrifying this heat could be, and that is why I had wasted no time and started performing as soon as I finished eating. The heat started to spread through my body when I had reached the 20th pose. I was a lot faster than before and continued to be faster. Time passed by and the heat in my body getting higher and higher, but unlike last time, I had started performing before the heat started to spread to me, and I am also a lot faster than last time, and that is why I reached the 83rd pose without getting injured, and miracle fruit energy also came out that time. A few minutes later I am lying on the floor tired. Though I am tired, happiness is clearly visible in my eyes. I was not able to make huge progress of 12 poses like yesterday, but I am still able to make go-gree poses higher than yesterday. If everything went according to my plan, then it wouldn't even take more weeks for me to go through first major cleansing. From what I have read, major cleansing is incomparable to the minor cleansing. The difference between minor cleansing and major cleansing is similar to normal seal and amethyst seal of supreme combat exercise. I had already reached 87th pose and now only 21 poses remain to be performed. Body cleansing technique had 16 moves and each move have 106. I got excited just thinking about it, but I know it will be difficult to reach the major cleansing because a big chasm exists before it. If I able to cross that chasm, I will get through the major cleansing. If I did not, then I will have kept trying till I cross that chasm. Despite knowing it is very hard, I am very confident in myself that I will be able to do it. I laid on the floor for 15 minutes before going to the bathroom for a shower. After getting out of the shower, I laid on the bed for reading for 2 hours before going into the meditation room. My killing rule has advanced to mid-level of basic stage and its power had increased tremendously, so I will have to make changes into my swirling armor as I can't use the proportions of rule power I had been using before. It's not a very complicated thing to do, but it takes little time. It is better to do now than dong in the time of the battle. Puff puff. The fire started to appear in my body, but before it could fully be formed, it has collapsed. I was not surprised by this, I had already expected this to happen. After failing the first time, I tried again and again. I have failed many times, but I kept learning through my failures and kept improving till I am able to form the swirls before collapsing. The more I failed, the more I learned, and through this failure, I was even able to make the little adjustment in the position of swirls so I could increase the power of my swirls. Finally, after more than an hour and a half later, the swirling armor finally stabilized on my body and the power it radiated is fearsome. With such power I have nothing to fear those against those below 2-star elite. I can even exchange a few blows with the 2-star elite before running away. Now I just wanted to outside now and find the good opponent to fight, to how powerful I have become. 1 hour, I just have to wait for an hour before I can go out. Chapter 485 Occult Tablet I. An hour passed and I finally get out of abode. The wait was short but felt very long. I just wanted to go out even if it was dark, but controlled myself somehow. Focus on monsters more. If you sense any monster, tell me immediately, I said to Ashlyn. I have now shifted my priorities. Now the monster has become my number one priority, even important than the precious medicine than the top 3 lists. The meat of monsters is very essential for my advancements. I wished Ashlyn had a special sense toward monsters just like she had towards the precious plants. Chirp chirp. Ashlyn chirped boldly, saying leave everything to her. She will do her best to find the monsters. I could see the glint in her eyes. She only has a glint in her eyes when she is thinking about very tasty food. Let's go then, I said after I put the abode in my storage. The sun hadn't fully risen yet. There is still quite dark around. I should have waited half an hour more, but I couldn't control my excitement and come out. Before leaving, I had taken a few bites of delicious snake meat, and because of that I am feeling slight heat all over my body. It's good thing I have controlled myself and only took few bites. If I would have taken few more, I would have had no choice but perform the body cleansing exercise, which I really don't want to do that. Performing the technique 2 times already a limit of mine. If I performed it third I would get mentally tired, and it not wise to fight in the mentally tired state in a dangerous place like a Furian ruin. Choo choo. About 20 meters I've left my abode, Ashlyn chirped again. I thought she had sensed monster near, but it turned out she just got the smell of the precious medicine. I got a little disappointed but soon shook my head. The monsters may be the most important, but precious medicine also important as well. They will help me exchange for the stuff I will need to forge my totem artifact. So, I cautiously followed Ashlyn's lead, and 10 minutes later, I put the medicine in special medicine box and started to forward. My luck is quite good that there were no restriction on the herb. I just had to pluck and put into the special medicine box. For the next hour, we didn't come across any monster or precious medicine, but we have across 2 humans and 3 teams of Grim Race monster. One Grim Race monsters group ran away, seeing how casually I am looking them despite them having high numbers and I am being alone, but 2 teams decided to attack me. It didn't take Ashlyn 5 minutes of finished off both teams of Grim monsters. If it had been yesterday, I and Ashlyn would have had to fight these group of monsters together, and it would have taken quite a while to finish them off, but now Ashlyn finished them within 5 minutes. I wish that teams would have been stronger, so I could test my power. I hope some strong opponent came across me. Choo choo. Just as I thought that, Ashlyn telekinesis chirped in my mind, and the only thing she said was to hide. Without wasting a time, I ran toward the thickest bushes I saw and the hide behind them. In the 10 days since I had been in the Ephirian ruin, and Ashlyn had used this warning 7 times, and all these 7 times, I had extremely close shave with the death. This warning of hers means that we have come across the enemy that could crush us like an ant. In front of it we will not stand even slightest of the chance. There were many sharp thorns in the bushes. I chose to hide, but I didn't much care about it. Even if there had been sharp iron needles in their place, I would have still decided to hide here. This wild shrub is very large and could perfectly hide my figure. Even if someone would walk hand distance from me, they would not able to see me in these bushes. As for their mental sense, I have covered myself thick killing energy. There is even a slight chance that even a sense of 3-star elite would not be able to notice me now if it was just a casual sweep of mental sense. I waited with the bated breaths, and about 10 minutes later I started to hear faint footsteps and voices. I waited to take extremely slow breath, and minute later a big team of Grim Race appeared before my eyes. There must 15 to 20 Grim Race monsters. Seeing such a big Grim monster group, I paled completely and started to pray all the gods I know. Boss, it's good thing great sirs have us memorized swallowing technique, otherwise it would have been really hard to digest these medicinal monsters, said Ratman to the Leopard Man, who seemed to the leader of the group. Yes, it's good thing, otherwise we would have been ended like some predecessors who exploded after eating the meat of medicinal monsters, said another werewolf looking toward the leopardman who was walking forward. With swallowing technique, we not only can eat such delicious monsters without worries but also can get a stronger visible rate, said the first Ratman. I wonder how those stupid humans must be doing. Some of them surely have been exploded into pieces by the medicinal energy, said another Grim Race monster. Yeah, they must have exploded like a balloon, hee hee heh, said Grim Monsters and started to laugh loudly. All of you shut up, focus on finding monsters and precious monsters. If I didn't get the quota of monsters I had set up by the evening, then you all know what awaited for you, said Leopard Mab is hoarse. All of the grim monsters shuddered hearing that, started to look around as if they are searching for the monsters. Seeing that, my heart tightened. I am very well aware that if I found, then I am 100% dead, and I might be dead in the most horrible way. Remember, you all should be the most focused on finding the miracle fruit. The predecessors who entered the ruin last time entered the garden had found the 21 miracle fruits across this ruin, and more than half of them came from this garden. As long as you guys find me a miracle fruit, I will promise that I will provide you with an occult tablet, said the leopard man, and next moment in his hand appeared a white tablet which is about 20 inches long. There were many lines carved across it, some were deep while others were light. It looked like some grim monsters had carved their claws on the tablet. I am barely able to control my breathing and heartbeat seeing that tablet because I know what it represents. On that tablet, an occult method is carved. The occult methods does not differentiate between races, anyone can comprehend it as long as they have the capability. Chapter 486 Occult Tablet 2. Boss, would you really give us this occult tablet if we are able to find the miracle fruit? Asked one ape-man with anticipation as it concentrating looked at the tablet. Like I had said yesterday, I will give this occult tablet to whoever brings me the miracle fruit. I can even swear on pride of my scarlet leopard man tribe. It said as it waved tabled around the grim monsters. Grim monsters look at the tablet with extreme greed in their eyes, but no one dares to touch the tablet. Seeing the grim monster waving the tablet, I really wish I had the strength of the 3-star elite. I would surely leap of these bushed and attacked that grim monster with all my strength to get the tablet out of its hand. Even if I had slightly weaker strength, I would have still attacked the grim race monster, just to have a chance at that occult tablet. The value of that tablet immeasurable to me. I knew very well how much merit needed to get a chance to comprehend the occult skill in the guild. Despite the whole month of intense hunting, I was nowhere near the price of getting chance to comprehend the occult method. How nice it would have been if I am able to have that tablet. That tablet would give me my personal occult method that I could comprehend whenever I want with no constraints of the time limit that Guild and Adventurers Paradise put. I started to look at each and every monster intently, trying to memorize the faces of each and every one. I may not have the strength right now, but if I am become strong enough in the future and come across that leopard man again, I will sure try for that occult tablet. After motivating everyone with the tablet, the leopard man finally put the storage back into its storage and grim race monster started to walk again. I am practically stopped breathing when the group of grim race monsters passed by the bush where I am hiding, and even practically jumped out when I felt the grim monster's sense passed by me. It was a good thing that my killing rule advanced yesterday, otherwise I would not have been able to elude the sense of the grim monsters. I slowly started to release my breath as the grim monsters went a little away from me. The grim monsters furked her and further away from me till they completely disappeared from my eyes. I heaved a sigh of relief seeing them disappeared from my views, but I did not get out of my hiding place. I stayed hiding for a solid 20 minutes before I got out of the bushes. Usually, I stay hidden for at least half an hour, but this group of monsters clearly had a destination in mind, so I doubt they will return to the place they have walked. Just to be safe, I started to walk opposite of the direction of that 3-star elite grim monsters group. Time passed by and soon the late afternoon came, and since morning, I haven't able to find the suitable opponent to fight. Either they would be too strong or too weak. But I am very happy though, because I have come across the medicine monster. Its strength was a little stronger than Viper of yesterday despite being at the initial level of Sergeant stage. I was right, the Viper of yesterday was from common species with low potential, otherwise it would have been a lot stronger with the number of resources it had eaten. One funny thing happens though, that makes me realize that humans never change. In this dangerous place like a Furian ruin, some people still get daring enough to start banditry. I have come across such a group. They were quite daring to rob with their meager strength. I not only took half of their stuff but also broke some of their bones as punishment. I hope those guys learn from their mistakes and won't start robbing people again. Others won't be as merciful as me. Choo choo. I had just packed the precious medicine that was in the top 3 lists and had just taken a step when Ashlyn chirped saying there is a group of grim monsters is coming. She didn't tell me to hide. That means the grim monsters group that is coming toward us is we are able to handle or at least run away with our strength. I continued to walk. If I kept stopping for the every grim monsters I have come across, then I will waste half of the day, just in waiting. After walked for a minuet when I spotted the group of the Grim Race monsters and smile couldn't help but appear on my face. Leader of Grim Monster is quite strong, to defeat it I will have to use all my strength. Ashlyn, I will fight the leader, you handle the rest. I said to Ashlyn. I didn't even try to control my voice, so that coming Grim Race monsters could hear me loud and clear. Food, you dare to look down on us, great Grim Race. If I didn't eat you alive then I wouldn't be sort of Night Bearman tribe, said the Night Bearman as he came at me with Warhammer which looked like it made of stone. It's regrettable that I couldn't harvest the mana crystal here, otherwise I would be very happy to let you experience the crystal harnessing while being alive. I said as I ran toward it with my fastest speed. I have already activated my swirling armor when Ashlyn told me grim monsters are coming toward us. Die! Night Bearman screamed loudly as it swung its stone warhammer at me with all of its strength. Clank! Its warhammer and my sword clashed against each other and we have stood still on our spot without moving an inch, with it having very shocked expression. While I am also surprised, not because of its strength but mine, I had expected to take a step back knowing how impressive physical strength the Night Bearman wield. Hee hee. I laughed and started to spin the swirl of my swirling armor. At the night I did not get enough time to take my swirling armor compactness as yesterday. Clank clank clank. Our weapons clashed and with each clash my attack getting more and more powerful. It was able to respond equally at first minuet, but as the time passed the power swirling armor kept getting increasing and so was my control over my newly advanced killing rule. Slice. My sword sliced across the chest of the Night Bearman. The slash was long and deep, bullying the slash bearman's eyes went mad and I thought it would attack when it suddenly started to flee. Ah! Puck! My sword pierced through the chest of Night Bearman from the back. Ashlyn had finished her fight in minuet, so when she saw Night Bearman fleeing she attacked it with her silver pearl. Though she was not able to kill the bearman due to its tough defense and high vitality, it is able to distract it, which was enough for me to pierce its sword from behind. Chapter 487 Omnious Ghost Tooth Flower. It has been 17 days since I have arrived in the Ephirian ruin and not only my strength had increased tremendously but I have also gained quite a harvest. My strength is increasing at the visible rate and I am confident that in the week I will have the strength of the 2-star elite. With the constant practice of the body cleansing exercise and eating monster meat my body becoming stronger at the visible rate. The only regret is that I had reached the bottleneck in the body cleansing exercise. In the last 7 days, I have made very fast progress in the body cleansing exercise, but after I had reached the 107th pose, I can't seem to go forward no matter how much try. I had tried many times but there was no use. I had expected to come across the big chasm but never expected the chasm would be this big. It's like an unbreakable wall. 108th pose represents the first major cleaning and the last pose of first move. I have read that it brings a big change to the body and gives a big boost to the strength and flexibility to the body. But they will not be the most important factors. The most important factors will be the cleansing. The minor cleansings I have received till now would be nothing in front of it. The cleansing will remove impurities of my body which will improve it in every way. Sigh. Ah. I took a sigh of relief but suddenly I stopped by the loud scream I heard. The scream came and stopped abruptly but it still left a mark which left me shaking. The scream seemed very painful and blood-curdling, that hearing all the hairs on my body stood up. Gasp. Hearing the scream, I slowly walked toward the place I've heard the scream and discovered something inconceivable. There I saw a team 6 Grim Race monsters bound by vines. Of 6 Grim Race monsters 4 of them in the mouth of the 4 flowery purple plants while the other 2 monsters are bound to eat later. Ominous Ghost Tooth Flower. I have never thought that I would come across this super rare plant and there are not 1 but 4 of them. Technically this ominous ghost tooth flower is hybrid, it is both plant and plant-type monster. As it possesses the core and intelligence as monsters but it is stationary as plant and to reproduce it seeds like plants. This plant is extremely precious. If the black mist flower is in the top 100 of the 3 lists then this flower present in the top 3. It is the most precious plant in the list published by the All 4S Class Guild. I am very lucky that I have able to see this plant as normally it lay below the ground and only came up when some step over where they are lying waiting. It is impossible to sense them from below, and almost all the people fall to become their prey if their strength equal to or lower than the ominous monsters. This team of grim monsters is very unlucky that they have placed the foot where the omnivorous plant is hiding. These 4 plants seem to take quite a relish eating these monsters, seeing how slowly they are eating the grim race monsters. 5 minutes later they finished eating the 4 big bodies of grim race monsters. The last remaining 2 monsters were taken by 2 most powerful of 2 ghost tooth monsters. I want these 4 plants no matter the cost. The things these monsters give will be akin to having second life. It is said that even speck on the core of the monster is enough to heal any injury on the body, while its seeds are enough to regenerate any body parts within the minutes. The poison it produced is extremely precious for the research purposes, the flower, roots, and any other part of it also precious as well. Having these 4 plants would be worth the whole trip to the Ephirian ruin. Though the plant is extremely precious, it is extremely dangerous as well. The poison of it could make one on the spot while giving the hell-like pain. Every part of it is strong like steel, its only weakness is the small part below the flower. The most troublesome ability of its is poison transmutation. It can transmit poison through any part of its body. As lost any part of it touched my body, I will be poisoned. It's good thing that I have finally mastered the mid-level attack skill, and it is a long-range skill known as fire arc. It can send the arc of fires through the sword. Ashlyn ready, we will attack in a minute, I said. Due to it being hybrid, it had power. Its aura is equal to the Brigadier stage and battle power is equal to the 2-star elite. The only advantage I will in this battle that this hybrid has the limited mobility, but the vines it released can still move at a 50-meter distance. That means in this battle I will act as support and Ashlyn will be the main force. Due to her tiny and her silver balls being more powerful, she will be able to better fight than me. Remember the plan, I said as I moved out of my hiding place and attacked the plants when they are about to eat the 2 monsters whole. Sup. I launched more than 10 fire arcs one after another toward all the 4 monsters. Dub. The plants got immediately altered and tens of vines came out of the ground and defended against my fire arcs. Soon all the fire arcs were defended by the vines. The scorched marks left behind by my attack vanished within the second, as not even trace left of them. It is inconceivable that the attack that merged with the rule power vanished within the second it made. Sup. Just as my first attack got defined, I started to launch another, but this time there is no stopping. I launched one after another with my full strength. With me having a monster core in my stomach, I won't have to worry about mana expenditure of such an attack, but it takes a toll on the mental power. My soul energy is quite high, but I will still need rest for a few moments to recover the soul power, but currently is not a time to rest. I have to provide the distraction for the Ashley's attack. I started to feel tired while attacking, as it has been 5 minutes since I am launching the fire arcs one after another, and unsurprisingly, all the attacks got defended by the ghost of plants, not a single one able to reach the flower. Sup. As I was attacking, a palm-sized silver fireball came from the sky. Its speed was so great that it had reached the range of ghost tooth vines, and they tried to catch that fireball. The fireball went inside the vines, but whenever they tried to catch, it will move away skillfully. The vines tried, but there was no use as the fireball was away too fast. Bang! Finally, about second after entering the ghost tooth's range, it finally crashed against the flower. Chapter 488 Poisoned. Banning. The fireball crashed against the base of the flower and made a palm-size hole inside. The purple flower, which had been glowing brightly, instantly dimmed down completely. Dead as I expected. Seeing their friend dead, all 3 ghost tooth flowers gone crazy and madly started to flay the vines on all directions searching for that fireball, but they come across nothing, and that time I resumed my attacks. Sup. As if blaming me for their friend's death, they started to defend against my attacks with a vengeance while trying to reach me, but I am outside their range. No matter how they tried, their vines couldn't reach me. These plants are terror with their vines. If they had the mobility like a plant monster, they would have been intensely powerful that even I would have had to run away from it. They have a lot of steel-like vines and immense vitality to boost them. Even if their vines are cut, they will grow anew in a minute. Sup. I continued my attack, but this time my pace is slow as I wasn't able to continue with the intense attacks. Time passed and we kept playing attack and defend, and with more my attacks had started to get deeper and deeper into the area of plants. The killing rule is such an amazing rule. It may have offensive power as normal level 2 rule, but it had many side perks. Intuition and analyzing is one of them. As the battle gets longer, I started to notice the pattern of the monster's attacks, and no matter how perfect one's attacks is, there are always loopholes, and it is the same for these 3 plants. The more I kept fighting with them, the more I understood their pattern, which helped me launch the attacks. Another half an hour passed and now my attacks could reach 5 meters near the flowers, which is very close, seeing there is net of near hundreds of vines around the 50-meter area around the plants. Sup, Ashlyn now. I suddenly increased the intensity of attack and asked Ashlyn to attack. My attacks have now become 3 times faster than before, leaving vines scrambling, and that exact moment, a fireball come out of the dead plant's body and moved toward the next plant. Cup. Seeing all the ghost of plants are nearly connected to each other, the fireball didn't take even a second to pierce through the second ghost of plant, killing it immediately before shooting up in the sky. Vines tried to catch the fireball with their all, but fireball was fast and swiftly flew around, dodging the vines nimbly due to its small size. Choo-choo. When the fireball came out of the vine's range, it burst open and Ashlyn came out of it. It was Ashlyn who had covered herself in the very dense ball of fire which had killing rule and sunfire rule merged in it. I called this move of her cannonball, as when it hits the target, it creates a very destructive force. That force is much times stronger than her fire pearls, but it is very dangerous as well. Her silvery fire pearls are the long-range attacks. She can cast them with from the safe distance, but the same as for cannonball, she had to cover herself with the dense fire and crash on the enemy, which is very dangerous. Now that 2 of their friends dies, the 2 ghost teeth went completely crazy but also became very vigilant. It was a good thing. Ashlyn, quickly escape. Even if these plants are dumb, they would have able to find her in their dead friend's corpse, seeing how she came out their friend's core. These monsters are now had become very vigilant despite going mad. They are very focused on their defense. It's like they have erected the green wall around them. No attacks of mine is capable of passing through that green wall. It is time to take the risk. I had already known that at maximum I will be able to kill 2 ghost tooth with that method, and to kill the other 2, I will have to enter their range. I completely covered myself with the killing energy. With these plants having no eyes will be very helpful to me, as my killing rule will help a little distracting their senses. It was mainly due to killing rule Ashlyn was so successfully able to fly around the vines. Ashlyn and I took the Ashlyn same time. She started to attack it with the silver pearls while I entered the range o monster's vines. For this attack, we have no clear strategy. It's all depend on the chance. If she got the chance she will kill, if I got the chance I will kill. As I entered the range, 1/3 of vines in the area came at me like a snake. They were agile and swift as a snake, but I was no dumb either. With my senses fully active I started to move around the vines agilely while trying to get closer to the plant. I would have had no chance against these vines if not for Ashlyn distracting them with her attacks. Her fire pearls may not be as much as use against these plants who have the terrifying vitality, but they still give the immense pain when they hit, which is enough annoy and distract these plants. Ashlyn had been hitting the sensitive spots on the fire, and due silver fire pearls being tiny, rarely any fire pearls were defended by the vines. Slice. I dance around the vines, and those I can't dodge or cut by my sword, but there was no relive, as the cut vines will grow anew in the minuet fully. Step by step, I get close to the flower, which searching for the chance to launch the fatal attack. Another half an hour passed and I was able to get close to the 10 meters from the flower, and now 3/4 of the vines are concentrated on me. Ashlyn, attack, I said, and 3 seconds later, a small fireball rained down from the sky. Seeing the fireball, the flower got alarmed, moved toward the Ashlyn, but how can I let them be successful? Crescent. I activate the second move of the skill, and large crescent-like fire arc shot through my sword, cutting all the vines that came in its way. Dub. With the help provided my attack, Ashley speedily came at the flower. Seeing what she will do, the flower had literally created the wall of vines, but she blasted through it and crashed into the weakness of the flower. A second later, Third Ghosttooth is dead and now last is remaining with controlling. It came at me and Ashlyn madly, but its 30-something vines could not be able to do anything to use as I steadily gained ground. With 30-something vines, Ashlyn did not even have to move out its range as she could nimbly move and attack with only one Ghosttooth remain alive. I got closer and closer till there is only 2 meters distance between us. Seeing it enough distance, I started to spin swirls faster for more power, and when I got enough power, I launched my final attack, and so is Ashlyn at the same. I cut through the vines, and seeing that I have been so easily cut across it, it used its all vines to create the barrier around it. Its head became even easier. I thought and pierced my sword through the vine barrier, and Ashlyn did the same while attacking. I felt a slight inkling of something being wrong, but in the heat of battle, I couldn't do anything about it, as if I retrace my sword, this angry plant may become sober and burrow in the ground. Dub. Pierce. We both pierce through the defense of the flower and see how the glow on its vines receding. It's dying. I was very happy seeing that, as these 4 plants worth the fortune. Just one of them is enough to make this trip worthwhile, but now I got 4. I was relishing in my victory when suddenly I felt extreme pain shooting through me, and when I looked at the source of my pain, I saw a vine thin as a needle had pierced through my back, very close to my heart. Fuck. I cursed loudly in horror. I was poisoned, and its essence poison, not the normal poison. Chapter 489 Omnious Ghosttooth Poison. Fuck. I said loudly as I started to take out various potions bottles from my pocket and drank them one after another, while at the same time using my rule power to contain the poison. Without asking, Ashlyn entered inside me. After drinking more than 10 potion bottles, I activated my abode hesitation and went inside just as it fully activated. As for the 4 ominous Ghosttooth flowers, I fucking don't care. They may have something that could instantly heal the injuries, they may have something that could instantly regrow limb, but they don't have anything that could help me against their poison, an essence poison at that. If I eat any part of them, it would not help me, instead it will amplify the poison. The reason they got name Omnious Ghosttooth Flower instead of Life Miracle Flowers, which suits them best as every part could be used in saving a life, is that because of their poison. There is a list of most poisonous being under night grade, and in that list, the poison of flower ranked 6th, and that poison called Ominous Ghosttooth Poison. It is because of its poison it had named the Ominous Ghosttooth Poison. I reached down my abode and looked inside me with my soul sense, and I paled again. Without caring for the price, I took out the small glass bottle from my storage, and inside it a tiny golden liquid could be seen. I took one unwilling look at the bottle and drank it whole. That small bottle had contained all the daffodil bees honey I have. Normally I would only drink daffodil honey when I have no choice, and my current condition is worse than I have no choice. I could clearly see all potions that had come across that dark gray tar-like poison would be swept inside it, and eating this the poison would grow more. Only after drinking daffodil honey would it able to stop for less than a minuet before it started to eat the daffodil bees honey and grow bigger, seeing that I had become completely paled. I had thought that daffodil honey would able to stop it, as it is effective against almost anything, but instead of crushing this tar-like substance, it instead crushed by it and then got eater. The daffodil honey can't be blamed, its level is too low. The honey came from the corporal stage daffodil bees, and the poison was from brigadier stage Omnious Ghosttooth Flower. If the honey was from the brigadier stage daffodil bees, it would have stood the chance against it. I wanted to use that potion, but it for bodily injuries, not for the poison. Jim had clearly told me that it is not a bit useful against the poison, otherwise I would have surely drunk that. Shit. I started to curse loudly as it broke through the double-layer confinement of my rule power and immediately seeped inside me, disappearing from my sense. Death. This is only thought came in my mind. From what I have read, I have a maximum of 20 minuets before my deaths came. The essence poison of the ominous ghost blood flower works differently than the normal poison. This dark gray tar-like substance will first seep into the deepest part of my body, and then it will start spreading to every inch of my body while swallowing all types of energies came in its way. It will continuously spread while growing bigger and bigger, and when it will fully spread on the each and every part of the body, it will come out and will start to eat the body in the true sense. By the time this poison finished, there will be nothing but the dark gray puddle on the ground. Those who got affected by this poison will die. Only those will able to survive who have antidote against it, and sadly I don't have it, but I will still have a chance. Sizzle. Making my mind, I removed something from my storage and started to burn it with my strongest fire with sunfire fused in it. In 5 seconds, it is fully cooked with some burn marks, but I don't care as I stared to eat it without care of my hand and mouth that is getting very messy. What I am eating right now is heart of the medicine monster that I had killed 3 days. Normally I would not dare to eat the whole heart as it will only pop me up like a balloon in minuet. This heart contains more than enough energy levels me up to the mid-level of the master stage, and I would have eaten it by adding little by little in my meal over the course month or two, but now I am directly eating it. I am eating so it would provide me with the time. The ominous ghost took poison at all the energy, and it is no doubt it will eat this medicinal energy as well. So, as long as this energy existing my body, it will not start eating my body. So with me eating a heart, I now barely have 45 minuets, and in this 45 minuets I will have to go through the first major cleaning, otherwise I will die without even leaving the bones. I had thought I would go through first major cleansing in the relaxed environment, but now looked like either I will go through first cleansing or die. I remove all my clothes, not leaving a single article of the clothing to interrupt my movements, and started to perform body cleansing technique and supreme combat exercise. It didn't even take me a minuet to reach the 12th pose of the body cleansing technique, while the same time I saw inferno-like green energy coming out of my stomach with the terrifying momentum, wanting to blast all things apart, but just as it about to reach the peak, it was sucked by some unknown force. I heaved a sigh of relief seeing that. I was afraid it will not eat this medical energy. If that would have happened, then I would be lying in a tiny flashes of blood and flesh right now. Though this immense green energy would increase the power of the ominous ghost tooth poison, I really don't much care as this method is proving me more time to survive. I started to perform as my life depend on it, and it depends on it. The faster I reach to the 108th pose, the more chances of survival I would have. I have to reach the 108 no matter the cost, if not for but for family. I still remember the long talk we have a day before I had come to this Ephorian ruin. My father had talked about the new job of his which he is loving so much. My sister is also loving the new place as it is bigger than our old home, and she had made lots of friends. So, if not for me I have to survive for them. I have made a promise to my family that I will come out of ruin alive. Chapter 490-108. I reached 48th to move within the 5 minuets. Usually, I need 3 times than this, but today I've done it, but this isn't time to happy about it as the front poses that I have to perform will take more and more time. I am even worried if I would be able to reach 83rd pose before the 45 minuets over. At 83rd pose the energy of miracle fruit came out, and I am counting on it to eat the ominous ghost tooth poison, and more poses I perform, the higher home field advantage it will have against the ominous poison. Seeing the power of the ominous poison, I know the energy of the miracle fruit won't be matched to the poison, but if it has the furnace-like environment to boot, a place where it is born and heaven. Advantage in. Even if it had not able to strike against it, even if it only able to confine it securely, that would be enough for me. After going out of this realm, I would be able to find an antidote, or I might get lucky and find something against this poison. With the intense hope to survive, I continue performing, but forward I go, the more time it needed for me to perform the poses. Still, I kept trying my all, trying to be faster than last. Even if it is not possible, then became faster than the last pose. It will be enough if I take some time performing current pose last post. Sweat could be seen dripping from my body. There is no single part of my form where the sweat isn't coming, but I don't have time worried about that as I am most focused on performing the poses faster. Ominous ghost tooth poison is sucking all the energy released from the digested part of my heart that I had eaten, and one surprising thing is that I had underestimated the medicinal energy heart has. It's not surprising that till now all the monster I have hunted, I have never eaten their hearts. I had known that hearts have way too much energy, and I didn't want to eat them in a place like Ephorian ruin. It's a good thing the heart I chose to eat is that of the weakest monster. If it had been the heart of the powerful monster, then even if ominous ghost blood poison sucking the energy, some would have leaked and popped me up like a balloon. Time passed and I continued performing like a mad, and finally, I had reached the 83rd pose in 37th minuet. Just as the miracle fruit energy came out, it moved toward the medicinal energy and started eating crazily. The eating speed of miracle fruit energy slow by half compared to the ominous poison. I had already expected this, but it still made me very disappointed. Now it completely depends on the body cleansing technique and how much it could suppress the ominous poison to give the energy of the miracle fruit a chance. But for that happen, I will have to continue performing and reach 108th pose at least, only then will I able to give the fighting chance to the energy of the miracle fruit. I kept performing while both of the energies kept eating the energies. I could see the energy of miracle fruit growing continuously, and with it growing, it is also eating more and more energy, but it was never able to match to the ominous poison as its speed of eating also increasing with the time. More than an hour had passed and finally, all the heart is completely digested and all of its energies were eaten by the ominous poison and the energy of the miracle fruit. A few seconds after the monster's heart finished completely digesting, tiny drops of dark gray tar-like liquid started to come out, and before my miracle fruit energy could try to eat any single one of those dark gray drops, all the gray drops sped toward each other and started merging. Soon all the dark gray drops merged and turned into a ball which had a crown of ghostly smoke top of it as it radiates the ominous aura. The name it got perfectly fit it. After merging into one, that ball of a dark gray liquid shot towards the miracle fruit energy, as if wanting to eat up before it started to eat my body. Seeing that I started to perform even faster with the energy that is hidden deep down inside me, I had already reached the 106th pose. To get the chance of survival, I just have to perform 107th and 108th pose. The dark gray ball of energy crashed into the big cloud of miracle fruit energy and started to eat it. The energy FO the miracle fruit resisted at first, but as the passed, its resistance wavered and the poison started to eat it. Though its speed of eating is very, very slow, it's still eating. If this kept happening for a while, I will seriously die. I cannot waste any time, I thought, and started to perform even more furiously, but no matter how furious I am performing slow as a snail. No matter how much I try, I can't seem to go faster. It still took me more than 10 minutes to reach the 107th pose, and by that time, that ball of ominous ball had eaten quite a bit of miracle fruit energy. As I reached the 107th pose, the temperature in me got even hotter and suppression on ominous poison got even greater than before it had stopped taking a bite on the miracle fruit. Now both of the energies had reached the stalemate, no one gaining upper hand on the other. I could sense that ominous energy wanted to take the bite on the miracle fruit energy, but no matter it tried, it didn't able to do it. They are now at a stalemate, but if I have to confine it, I will have to perform the 108th pose, otherwise all will be futile once I stopped performing. I had already reached my limit, and performing, moving a single had become extremely difficult for me. Time passed and I kept performing at a very slow pace when suddenly ominous poison, which had been trying to eat the miracle fruit energy, started to enter the deep again. I paled seeing that. I thought as long as I continue moving I will be able to reach the 108th pose, but now seeing there is no point eating, it had moved toward my body. Aha! A few seconds after it had entered my body, I felt pain from the deep inside me. It was the most intense pain I've ever felt in my life. This ominous poison is eating my life force away. I have suffered through many things, beaten till every bone of my body broke, till my body became volcano by monster core or ballooned by the medicinal energy, but I have never had my life force eaten. Life force is the basis of life. Once is sucked more than the body could handle, then there will be deep consequences for a lifetime, even if I am able to survive. I am feeling the pain that I had never before, but it is not affecting a bit, as I am most about my life force that has been eaten away bit by bit. I have to do something now that I am capable of, because a few minutes later, I won't be capable of doing anything as my life force will be sucked away. Aha! I screamed through my gritted teeth and started to move my body with all the strength I have. My body, which had been half immobile, started to move, and it moved fast. I don't know where did I got the energy, but my speed became a little faster than a snail. I moved and come across the chasm. Ah! Seeing the chasm, I did not stop, instead crashed through it with every bit of will I have, and I finally able to cross that chasm. I had finally performed the 108th pose, and when I looked inside me, I saw something very inconceivable, very inconceivable. Chapter 491, Major Cleansing. Just as I reached, I saw something inside me. I never thought I would be able to see something like this. It is really inconceivable. Inside me had become colorful that all sorts of energies came out me. They have filled my body with a brim. I have never thought I had this much amount of energies hidden inside me. Some I could identify, some were relatively unknown, some of them were remnant energies of miracle fruit, energies from the monster core. The potions I have all sorts of energies came out the deepest part of my body they hiding in. The most important energy is ominous ghosteth poison. It also came out me, and like all energies, its dark gray tar-like drops also stood motionless. I could see how all the drops are struggling, but no matter how much they try, they were not able to move even slightly. The only thing that is able to move is the energy of miracle fruit. Unlike other energies, it is feeling no restriction and it is making full use of that. It is eating the other energies of miracle fruit that came out of my body. These energies were from the miracle fruits I ate in the past. It did not even glance at the other energies, and the more it ate those miracle fruit energies, the slight purple hue on it also getting more and more defined. I continue performing, even with the pace slower than, and I continue moving as once I stop, everything will also be stopped, and one thing is the major cleansing also hadn't started yet. From what I have read, I will have to completely finish performing the 108th pose before I could go through the major cleansing. As I continue performing body cleaning, I notice that my body getting hotter and hotter, and some energies were melting and fusing with my body. I have seen the other energies fusing with my body, but they have never fused so perfectly. This process is simply perfect, and one thing made even happier that as I go more forward in the 108th pose, the greater and stronger energies started to melt and fuse in my body. First, it was just normal energies that I got from eating normal monsters' meat and potions. These energies came from the monsters I ate and potions I drank when I was at private stage. But as time passed, the temperature inside me has increased and it started to melt stronger energies like berserk energy of specialist stage monster that I have when I ate for the energy. I had become completely empty of the energy while performing the 108 poses and barely able to move, but when I saw all these energies are melting like butter and fusing with each and every cell of my body, I know I have to continue. I know that if I am able to even merge less than half energies into me, then the physical boost I will receive will be immense. It will be more than what an amethyst seal gave me. If that happens, then I will have the strength of 2-star elite. I will be directly able to clash against it without using any tricks, and that is least what I will be able to do. I kept performing and saw all types of energies getting melt and fuse with me. Even the berserk energy from the master stage fiery core that 3 fatties had fed started to melt. While one side energies kept fusing, on the other side the energy of the miracle fruit finished eating all the miracle fruit energies that were present in my body. Now it started to move again. I thought it would eat the medicinal energy, but no, it directly went for the closest drop of the ominous poison. I was quite shocked seeing this. I had already expected to eat the ominous poison, but after it ate all the energies and became powerful, I did not expect it to directly leap at the ominous poison. Ominous poison is completely suppressed that it wasn't able to move from its place, but that doesn't mean it is easy to swallow. The big cloud of the miracle fruit energy covered the ominous poison and started to eat, and to my surprise, it is able to eat it, but its speed is very slow. Time passed by and miracle fruit energy had finished eating the half drop of ominous poison, and not only it had grown in size very much, but it also purple hue on it had also grown slightly. Seeing I became very happy. There are more than enough energies here to make me level, but the problem is time. As long as I give the miracle fruit energy enough time, it will be able to eat enough drops of ominous poison to make me level up. The only thing I will have to do is keep moving. Fuck. Sometime later I got the biggest surprise. My body had become even hotter than it started melting the ominous poison, and currently, in my body, there is no energy that had not melted. The berserk energy of all the levels melted, even the medicinal energy melted completely before it started to slowly merge with my body. The drop ominous poison started melting one by little, all the melted like the butter and started fusing in my body. My body is not the only one who is getting benefited by the melting of the energies. The miracle fruit energy also benefited as it had become very easy to eat the melted energy. Its speed increased 5 times and it is growing bigger at a visible rate. It wouldn't be long before it will eat enough energies to help me level up. Time passed by and now there less than 5% energies remain in my body, and they are also fastly merging with my body and eaten by the miracle fruit energy. It wouldn't take a minuet for all the energies to finish off, as I had reached the end of the 108th pose and will be finished in less than 2 minuets. 1 minuet passed, and just as I expected, all the energies that were out got completely consumed, not even speck left of them. The purple hue on the miracle fruit energy is now quite visible, as it now covered about 10% of miracle fruit energy. The 10% of mutation is really great, as it will increase the speed of consuming of miracle fruit energy by 10 times of original speed. I have now more than enough energy to level up. If I wish, I could start leveling up right now, but I did not, as I first wanted to go through the cleansing and then level up. Today I had really close brush up with death. It was even more dangerous and deadly than the incident with the fatties, but it also gave me more benefits than I had imagined. 1 second after another passed, and I finally performed the last movement of the 108th pose, and just as I did that, I shook a little and I smelled the most horrible thing I've ever smelled as the major cleansing started in my body. Chapter 492, Mid-Level of Master Stage. A dense black liquid started to come out of my body, bringing the most horrible smell I've ever smelled. It smelled 100 times more worse than the most horrible smell I have ever smelled. The black liquid continues to come out my body, and within a few seconds, a layer of black appears on my body. Controlling my senses, I concentrated my soul sense inside my body, only to see a black substance coming out from every pore of my body, and it continued for a minuet. The slight shaking of my body had also stopped, and my body started to return to normal. Seeing the layer of horrible black filth covering my body, I left dumbstruck, as I never threw my body that this much filth in it, and this is just the first move of body cleansing exercise. I wonder what happened in the second, third, fourth, even 16th move. I released the miracle fruit energy that I had desperately held on to after the cleansing process finished. Bam! Just as I released the energy of the miracle fruit, it crushed all the barriers, and when it comes across the final where it always stopped for a moment, this time it did not stop and directly crushed that barrier, as this time I had more than enough miracle fruit energy than I need for a level up. As the energy of miracle broke through the final barrier, I started to level up. I could see the changes happening to me. My body, soul, and mana, all three are advancing at a visible pace. About 10 minutes later, I had finally leveled up to the mid-level of master stage, and about to get up, as this filthy smell had really become unbearable when I sensed something which made me stop my movement. I thought this would happen during only a big level up, did not think this will happen during a small level up also, I thought happily as I concentrated on my source and saw the exact scene what I had expected to see. The shadow of Ashland's source is hanging above my source, and from it, energy transmitting to my source, which is making its aura grew denser and color brighter. I concentrated on Ashland's source and entered her source, seeing Ashland's source sucking off energy from the blood drop. Seeing this process happening and will take some time to finish off, I calmed my mind and concentrated on the blood drop. This is always the best time to concentrate on blood drop, as I can get the clearest images only this time, and fire rule became clear. Time passed as I concentrated on the blood drop, concentrating at the blur images, while at the same time try sense fire rule, which will help take my sunfire rule to the mid stage. Time passed by, and about 2 hours later, Ashland's source stopped sucking the energy. The power of my fire ability had increased again by many-fold, which means the fire of swirling armor also increased. If earlier I am strong as I had been earlier, then I wouldn't have had to fight so desperately against that ominous ghost tooth flower, I thought as I started getting up. Bang! I crashed against the wall as I started to get up. I have used too much power than I had expected. I quickly stabilized myself and pressed a few buttons on the control pad before walking toward the bathroom carefully. Currently, I am feeling very light. I am feeling like I have become a feather, and that if I want to, I can fly. I am feeling this because my body has gone through major cleansing. I went to the bathroom and started to shower. The black filth that completely dried on my skin started to fall apart under the pressure of the shower and revealed a glowing skin that is filled with the vitality. The effects of major cleansing are better than I expected, I thought as I looked at my glowing skin. I scrubbed my skin with soap till all the filthy smell disappeared from my body. Turning off the shower, I dried my skin with the fire before walking out of the bathroom. Fuck. I was comfortably wearing the cloths when I remembered that I hadn't collected the 4 omnious ghost tooth flower yet. Just as I remembered, I started to wear clothes quickly, nearly tearing them apart. After wearing clothes, I wore my artifact in quick succession before getting out of the abode. Thank God. I toothed a sigh of relief seeing the flower are all right. I am quite lucky that no one had passed in this way. These flowers are very precious, could be said one of the most precious plants in the garden. I did not waste time and walked toward the flowers. They are just as I left them. First of all, I will have to remove those two most important things out of them. They have the highest value in all the things of ominous ghost tooth flower. I removed the knife from my storage. This knife is peak general stage totem artifact. I have brought this knife as it has the very sharp blade. It is sharper than my red sword. Activating knife, softly pressed it against the base of the flower and started applying force slowly till it started cutting through it. I intentionally applied less force in fear of damaging the flower. It is important that this flower did not damage too much, otherwise it will lessen its price. I had started to cut the same way I have saw in the demo. I kept cutting and made the palm size cut across the base of the flower, and when I widened the hole, a bright green gem of infant's thumb size appear in front of me. This is the core of the ominous flower. Eating speck of it could heal all the injuries on one's body within a minute, and it's gentle in nature, so even normal people could eat without fear of berserk energy. I quickly placed the core in my storage. After that, cut the whole flower from the base and looked inside to see there are 4 emerald color thumbnail size seeds inside. These emerald thumbnail size seeds are called regeneration seeds. Like their name suggests, after eating a seed, it can help regrow the body part in the span of a few minutes. There are normal regeneration medicines, but they get expensive with level, and they took a lot of time also, but this seed can help one regrow the limb within a few minutes. After finishing with the one flower, I moved toward the next flower, and in 5 minutes I have removed all the cores and seeds from the flower and then started to pack the flower itself. Choo-choo. I had just finished storing all the 4 omnious ghost tooth flowers and about to star on roots and vines when Ashlyn chirped. So, guests are coming, then we should welcome them properly, I said with a smile as I placed the knife back in my storage and take off the sword from my waist. Chapter 493, Poison Immunity. Oh. A sound came out of my mouth when I sensed the number of monsters coming toward me and their levels. I had expected it to be 5 to 6 monster with 1-star elite or 2-star elite as a leader, since Ashlyn didn't ask me to hide, but it turned out this group of monsters have 14 monsters with 3 3-star elite as the leader. If it had been morning, I would have surely run away from this team, as I would have been able to survive against 1 2-star elite, but fighting 3 3-star elite would have been absolute death. But now I don't such a problem. If there would have been 2 more normal 2-star elites, I would have been fine. Currently, I have the power to beat TH6 Challenger in the Guild's Challenge, which is asking to normal 2-star elite, and with adding a power boost my swirling armor, I have the power to fight against slightly stronger 2-star elite, which is power similar to the 7th Challenger in the Guild's Challenge. If I had been in the outpost, I would have been mid-level powerhouse, but here I am not. I have already sensed the few beings in the past few days who have gone beyond 3-star elite and fortunate enough survive, as one of them was a grim race monster while the other was monster. A few seconds after me sensing them, the team of grim race monsters appeared in view. This team, as I had sensed 14 grim race monsters of the various tribe and have 3 grim race monsters that are 2-star elites. They looked quite surprised when they looked at me when standing amidst a bunch of vines and roots. They did not say anything, just kept observing me and vines and roots about when one Crockman's expression changed suddenly. Ominous ghost tooth flower, and more than one at that, said the Crockman loudly. Hearing it saying loudly, all the grim race monsters started to look at roots and vines, and their expression have changed also. Hand over all the ominous ghost tooth flower you have got, and we will give you swift death, but if you resist, then I will let you be eaten by my friends here, said Black Viper Man, clearly threatening me. I smiled at its threat while reminding myself to collect its poison after I killed it. The poison of this Brigadier Black Viper Man is very useful to me. The poison of Black Viper Man I am using for the poison training had become too low grade for me, as it is the poison of Black Viper Man of major stage. The Viper Man became angry seeing the peculiar look I am giving it. Looks like you have no intention to giving us the ominous ghost tooth flower, in that I won't be polite, said the Viper Man as it came at me with the swift speed while activating its spirit totem on the way. Seeing it coming at me, Ashlyn, who was on my shoulder, flew up. Seeing the black viper man coming at me, I did not move from my spot. I would have not moved from my spot if all the three of them came at me. As it came closer to me, it swung its saber at me with extremely fast speed. Seeing it's launching its attack, I also swung my sword at it. Clank! Our sword clashed and my body shook a little, but I did not take a step back, but the black viper man had to take a couple of steps back, and I even saw a trickle of blood coming from its mouth. It looked at me with shock, as if not daring to believe what happened. Its shock is understandable, as there is a difference of 5 levels between us. "You guys help me, this one is quite tough," said Snakeman as it looked at its teammates. Hearing him, their dazed faces recovered and they all came at me. The 2 Grim Race monsters were ahead while their 11 teammates were behind. Ah! Suddenly the 11 Grim monsters from behind started to scream, and when the 3-leader Grim monster looked back, they saw the 11 Grim Race monsters are being attacked by the small bird, and the injuries they have received are very serious, and one of them even died, and it's just happened within the second. "You guys handle this bird and are careful, she is very dangerous," said the Crocman to the people behind him. Hearing his order, all the 10 Grim Race monsters nodded and took the air while 3 Grim Race monsters attacked me. I could have taken the earlier chance to attack, but I didn't. I want to test my power against 3. Black Viper Man, Crocman, and Yellow Rat Man, all 3 2-star elite, attacked me at the same time, but I am not afraid of the even if I have no swirling armor on. If I had my swirling armor on, I would have quickly finished the fight, but I didn't want that, as I want to see how powerful my body had become. I will only use my swirling armor when I am facing mortal danger, which I don't think happen, even if these 2 use their mystic skills. Clank 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 slice. As the 3 came closer, all 3 of them started to launch their attack in quick succession. I was able to counter them well, but Ratman's short sword still sliced my skin a little. Slice slice slice. That only happened once, as I did not have the quick grasp over my stretch, but as time passed, I got better control over my strength, that not only I gave them chance to not attack me, but I started to attack them. New cuts started to appear on Grim Monster's body every second. No matter how much they tried to dodge, the cut would always appear on them sneakily. "We will be killed if we let this food have its way. Let's use our occult method and finish this bastard." Snakeman snake, and next moment their power tripled. Slice slice slice. I was waiting for this. I thought as I started to use my full power. I had been holding back when I fighting these monsters, so when they started to use their occult methods, I also started to use my full strength, and surprisingly their condition has become worse. Sup. More and more injuries started to appear in their body when suddenly the black viper man opened its mouth and spewed its black-red venom at me. I wanted to use my rule power to stop the poison infiltrating my body, but soon a thought came into my mind and I let poison seep into me and to my body and to my and the black snake man. I felt nothing. I did not feel even speck of pain. I had expected to have the poison immunity, as more than half of the ominous ghost tooth poison had merged with me. It is obvious that I would develop a poison immunity, but feeling nothing from the poison is still very shocking, as this was not the normal poison but essence poison. I kept fighting against the poison for a while before gaining the complete upper hand in the battle and killing 3 of them. The Yellow Rat Man tried to run but easily killed by me, with Ashlyn distracting it. Chapter 494 Collecting. Poison immunity is really good. I thought as I scanned myself with my soul sense. The essence poison of the black snakeman is coursing through my body, but no matter how much it tried, it can seem to harm it. I scanned it every inch of my body to see if it is affecting any other part, but no, it is not affecting any other part of my body. Poison immunity is not the only thing I have received. I found that my healing speed has doubled than before, and the strength boost I got could be compared to the 15 seals of the Supreme Combat Exercise. These all boosts are incredible. I have never thought I would gain so much in a few hours. The body cleansing exercise is really amazing. Not only it had cleansed my body, but it had also merged all sorts of energies into me, one being most special, that is ominous ghost tooth essence poison. The power it has was no less than a mystic medicine. It had not only to give me poison immunity, but it also made my body strong. It is said every pose, it would create a mysteries cleansing energy which would be released in small parts at every 12 poses, and when one performed 108 poses, it would release full, thus creating the melting effect. This cleansing energy production will be kept increasing with every move, and after the 10th move, its production would increase so immensely that every pose could create enough energy could create the melting effect. But how hard is to reach the 10th move? Even the owner of White Axe, who was only able to reach 9th move after the years of hard work, and people of his organization had started to call him a freak. From what I have seen in the memories, that very difficult to reach 16th pose, that only negligible amount people able to reach it. Even in supreme level organization there is a handful of those who were able to reach it. I don't know if it's true or not about the supreme level organization, as those people, when they talked about the supreme level organization, they had dreamy look in their eyes. I quickly collected the stuff from the Grim Race monsters' bodies, especially their storages. This is quite a powerful team. They must have collected quite a bit of precious plants and medicine monsters, and now this all will be mine. I would be an idiot to submit this to the Guild or Adventurer's Paradise directly, as it is an open secret that they both keep some precious things that found in it. It is not difficult to open these storages either. I could ask the help of my former team leader's help, or I could just capture small Grim Race monsters and have it open the storage, or I could use that option which is easiest. After putting Grim monsters and their stuff in my storages, I went back to the vines and roots of the ominous ghost blood flower. All the parts of ominous gloss tooth flower are crazy expensive, so much I would even able to sell normal leaf on it for tens of crystals. That is how expensive this flower is. I carefully stored every part it, and by the time I am done with all the packing it's already evening. I quickly packed, found a suitable place for the setup abode and activated. A minute later I went inside the abode. The first thing I did was to take a shower, and after that, I decided to cook dinner with monster meat. After cooking the dinner, I served Ashlyn her full plate while I only took a little. I am not planning on performing body cleaning exercise. I am already mentally little tired, mentally intense performing earlier, that I just want to take a break from it tonight. When I took the few bites of the meat, I felt familiar heat, but this familiar heat was a lot of less than earlier. Seeing that I filled my plate with little more meat and started to relish, I only stopped when heat producing my stomach had become uncomfortable. With my body becoming strong, I can now bear a lot more medicinal energy in me than before. After finishing the dinner, I laid on the bed reading while Ashlyn slept, as I am taking the first watch. After reading for 2 hours, I walked toward the meditation room. There was another reason why I didn't use swirling armor today, as I wasn't sure if I am able to control it properly, since not only I had leveled up today, my fire ability's power had also increased. The increase in power presents the new challenges which I have to deal with every time when I advance in any parameter that made the swirling armor. There is even increase in my mana. That means I will able to cover more part of my body with the swirling armor. I am planning on covering my shoulder, which will give my attacks more power. In the meditation room, the fire slowly started to cover my body, all my limbs completely covered in fire, and this time my shoulder also covered in fire. And because of my shoulder now covered in fire, I am going to use 14 big swirls instead of 12 that I had been using. The 2 extra big swirls would increase the mental strain on me, but it will give me good power boots of about 15% to 20%, which is huge. One by one swirl started to form on my armor, be it small or big. I formed all the 12 big swirls and small swirls around them, number of small swirls. Puff. Now it time to form the big swirls, I thought, as I started 2 big swirls on my shoulder. I started on my left shoulder and is formed with a slight hitch, but when I started for form right shoulder, it collapsed, and with its collapse, all the other swirls also collapsed. Sigh. I said, and started to try again. No one ever succeeds in their first try, I thought. I continued trying, and finally a few hours later, I finally succeeded, and like I expected, the 2 swirls did boot my power of swirling armor. The only problem there is that I wasn't able to work on the compactness of the swirling armor. The compactness of my swirling armor had reached the 1.3 inches, but now it is at 1.4 inches. I will have to work hard for a day or two to get my swirling armor at the previous compactness. I have also thought of a new move after watching the images from Blood Drop earlier. It's a power-down version of Power Blast, which I can use many times as I want without worrying about the time interval between the usage. But I can't test this move in the Ephirian Ruin, as it would waste a lot of time. I could only test it when I reached back home. I checked the feed one more time and woke up Ashlyn, as it's her time to keep the watch while I sleep. Chapter 495 Chaste. Next morning after I finished my chores and performed the body cleansing technique, and sadly I was not able to perform any pose of the second move. Like the supreme combat exercise, the body cleansing technique has to be performed from the starting sequence. One can't start from where they have left. Before starting performing the technique, I had eaten quite a bit of medicinal monster's meat, seeing my body got stronger and could handle a lot more energy. We started our day as we usually do, taking cautious but fast steps so we could gather as much as resources as I could, and also keeping an eye for the exit of this garden, or at least big crack. I don't want to spend my whole time in this ruin by staying in the garden. Even if I don't manage to gather as much as resources I could in the garden, it's still fine. But I am not in a hurry, as there are still 40 days remaining till the ruin closed. Another ruined repository. I thought as I came across the huge building, which is neither in good condition or condition, but that is not what I am looking at. I am looking at the ruined runic formation that is covering the building. Just taking one look at it enough to make one shudder to the core. Only an insane person would dare to enter such place. With the formation in such ruin, it is nearly sure that whoever enters this repository will be dead. This is the 6th ruined repository I have come across, and I always cursed loudly when I see the cursed loudly at my bad luck. If it had been a repository in good condition, I would have the stuck fortune of my life like some did before. I have read that some people had come across the active repository and got the fortune of their life. The repositories of the garden are the place that stored matured medicines. Matured medicines can't be kept on the plant long, otherwise they will get spoiled. These repositories were the places where the garden stored the matured herb is collected. It stored the massive amount of precious plants that had been collected for the years. Taking one last longing look at the repository, I started to walk forward, seeing there is no way I would enter the repository, which would be akin to committing suicide. Time passed and afternoon came. Since the morning I have hunted the 3 medicinal monsters, one of which has similar power compared to the normal 2-star elite, while the other 3 had power compared to 1-star elites. I have also come across the one medicinal monster that has the power of 3-star elite, thanks to Ashland's warning, otherwise I would have gotten in serious trouble. This way, right? Chew. I asked Ashland, and she answered with chirp. Seeing it is the right way, I walked into the dense bushes. Sometimes precious plants found in normal places that one could easily reach, but most of the time they are hidden in a very complicated place like this one. Ashland had said that the precious are in deep in bushed, and now I have to weave through the bushes to find that precious plants. After much rummaging the bushes, I had finally found the plant that I had been looking for. It's an herb, and it's tiny one at that. No wonder it took me so much time to find it, I thought. I was very happy seeing that herb because it is ranked 5th on the list that came from the central continent. This is the 2nd precious plant I got, which is in the first 10 of the 3 lists. Chew chew chew. I had carefully dug the herb when Ashland suddenly started to chirp me loudly to hide. Her chirp was very urgent this time, and I started to hide when suddenly a werewolf came flying and landed not far from me. Too late. Ashland had sensed the grim race monster too late. It's not her mistake either, the monster was already coming to our direction. 3-star elite. This werewolf is a 3-star elite, I thought as I sensed its battle power and saw the mark of 3 white stars on his forehead. This werewolf is not looking at me but looking at the herb in my hand with greed clearly visible in its eyes. I may able to find precious plants easily, but others do not have such ability. For them coming across top her is a fortune. I had already activated my swirling armor when the werewolf spotted me, but it had seemed to care as his gaze was focused on the herb in my hand. Give me this herb and I promise you I will let you go, said the werewolf finally. Liar. I could clearly sense its thick killing intent toward me. I have no doubt that as long he got herb in his hand, he will kill me and might even eat me after that. I nodded at his statement and started to walk toward it while thinking of the ways I could get away from this fearful 3-star elite. I started to think of many ways, but all of them end up me being dead. The 3-star elite is very powerful. To kill a 2-star elite they wouldn't have to use their weapons. As I was thinking ways to get away, an idea came into my mind. It is the same idea that came to my mind last night, but I have never tried it before and didn't know if it will work it or not, and even if it works the first time, but what about second, third, and so on times? I will have to use that move continuously, and if I failed the single time then I would be dead by this werewolf's hand. I really don't want to use that move, as even using that move there is a 95% chance I will die, but if I didn't use that move then I will die for sure. I was halfway through the monster when a small wave produced across my legs and a smile appeared on my face. Bang! You dare food. Seeing the smile on my face, it knew something was wrong and attacked me while shocking loudly, but was already very as the small bang produced below my legs. I shot into the air like a rocket. It succeeded. I thought as I shot through the air, I had very little hope it will succeed, but it has succeeded and I am ecstatic but calmed down. Next second case I know this is just a starting and I will have to perform this move over and over again without failing, otherwise I would die, as I could clearly sense the angry werewolf shot through air with angry roar. Its speed is very fast, and if I did not use another mini blast swiftly, I can imagine what things he will do me. It might even eat me alive, seeing how thick killing intent it is having for me. Chapter 496, Entering Ruined Repository. Werewolf had shot through the air angrily, and seeing how thick its killing intent, it will not stop till it killed with its claws. My speed is slowing down. If I didn't use a mini blast again it will catch up to me within few seconds. Thinking that I again prepared for mini blast and hope it will be successful like last, otherwise I will reach underworld in a very painful way. Boom. I activated my skywalking skill and used that as a base to launch another mini blast through air. This time it is even more dangerous as I am not using Earth as a base but the base made of my skywalking skill. The timing had to perfect, otherwise there is death. Boom. Successful again, I thought as I again shot, though again at a fast speed. This time I had carefully observed the process, as I will have to keep using power blast. God know how much time to get away from this very angry werewolf who seemed so hellbent on killing me, as every second its killing intent would rise, every second it is following me. Boom boom boom. I kept using mini blast every few seconds and got a little better at it, but I did not become complacent as the monster is 10 to 15 meters behind me. One wrong step on my part and it will catch up to me. Boom boom boom. I started to use more frequently, but no matter how faster I became this werewolf would always be in 20 meters range of mine. The distance never widens no matter how many mini blasts I would use. Food gives up now. I can still give you a swift death, but if you make me use my totem spirit then I will make you experience a pain that is worse than death. It shouted. Its threat clearly rang across my ears, and I am aware that it hadn't used its totem spirit yet, and that is why slowly spinning the swirls of the swirling armor and barely able to make any progress. Fuck this. I thought, and started to spin the swirls as fast as I could, and because that swirling armor started shaking as it will go puff at any second. Seeing that, I concentrated all my soul energy stabilizing the swirling armor, holding back nothing. That had subsided the shaking, but it had started to make my head ach very painfully, but I can only bear through the gritted teeth. Looks like you want to experience my torture very much, shouted the grim race monster, and the next moment I sensed its aura rising very sharply. Boom. Zup. Boom. Fuck. I shouted loudly. I was just a moment late activating mini blast by a moment, but I was barely able to avoid the death. I could feel the sharp wind created by its claw that had appeared just inches behind my back. And even now, the monster is just 5 meters behind me and steadily gaining the ground on me. Boom. I activated another power blast, seeing it appear just 2 meters behind me, and also started to spin swirls even faster. That gain started the shaking of the swirling armor. I again used the last bit of energy to forcefully stabilize it and started to search for the reasons for shaking. I can't always use the soul energy to forcefully control the swirling armor, as I will need to be lost of soul energy for rule powers. This approach started to work as I continued to look and solve the problems. The load on my soul energy lessened a lot more, and even speed of the swirls increased. That is making my swirling armor gain the previous 1.3-inch compactness of the swirling armor. Slice. I had just thought for a second that I would be safe for a second when the werewolf increased its speed suddenly, that my back clawed by its claw and the injury is bone deep. If not for me sensing spike in its killing intent and acting mini blast that right moment, right now I would have my chest pierced by its claws. I quickly ate the grease speck of monster's core, and next second the bone deep injury I had received started to heal, and half a minuet it has completely disappeared. I had read about the healing core of ominous monster, but after I personally experienced it, I couldn't help but marvel its healing power, as it didn't take some minutes to heal such serious injury. It is as miraculous as I've read. Boom. I used mini blast again, seeing it's attacking me again, the speed of its attacking increasing, and if I didn't increase my speed again, I would surely be dead by the claws of the werewolf. I started spinning faster and faster while fixing the destabilization of the swirling armor and at the same time using power blasts. I have never done so many things at once in my whole life. I felt like my head would split up, but I have no choice, as I know after it had decided that its spirit totem's energy isn't enough, it will use its occult method, that is when I will face the real danger. For it, I have to be prepared or become fast enough, so that danger wouldn't able to touch me till I reach the destination I am running toward. I know my current way isn't sustainable, and that is why I am moving toward a specific place. Though going to that place isn't less than suicide, but that is my choice of dying, it is much better than death, worse than a dog in the hands of the grim race monsters. I kept swirling my refining and engine, and finally able to make my swirling armor 1.25 inches compatible, and it had given me the huge boost that I did not to fear anything below the 3-star elite, but that is not enough, as what I am facing is 3-star elite. I kept trying to go above 2.5 inches, but no matter how much I tried, I wasn't able to go above it. I was just wallowing in my sadness when I saw the building I am running toward it. "Little bastard, you are too slippery. If I let you go, then my name wouldn't be Gavin," roared the grim race monster, who is 30 meters behind me. Just as he finished, a terrifying fluctuation started to come out of it. Sensing such terrifying fluctuation, I started to use one powerful mini blast after another to get toward the building, which is getting bigger and bigger at every moment and just need me a few seconds to get inside it. Bang! I heard loud bang behind me, and I know it is coming at me, knowing that I started to spin the swirls faster and faster without care. Poochie! Suddenly I sensed the intense danger and tried to move away from a little to avoid, but it is no use, as right after I had sensed the danger, I found the claws of the inside my chest, missing my heart a little. It was a good thing I moved a little last movement, otherwise its giant claw surely would have able to pierce my heart. I could see the claw sticking out of my chest when I looked down. It was a very gruesome and horrible sight. I could feel that a very powerful occult energy tearing through every cell of my body through the claw. This is the most powerful energy I've ever felt, and it is very dominant, as within a second it had completely wrecked my body, giving me an unimaginable pain. If not for the strong body I have, I would have died by now, but I am not far away either. Still experiencing torture, I did not let go of my swirling armor and kept trying to break past that chasm. "Got you, little bastard, let's see where you run," said the werewolf in my ear softly. Boom. "I will pay you back tenfold if I survive," I said, as while vomiting a mouthful of blood as I looked at ruined repository below me. The next moment, before it could do anything, a very loud boom rang across my feet and I shot toward the building in speed that blurring even to the 3-star elite werewolf. Chapter 497, Automaton Maintenance Hall. Ruined for thousands of years. The repository mainly used to store the herbs, and each repository used to store specific types of plants or plants that have specific elemental alignment. But not all repositories store the herbs, some used as a storeroom to store the equipment that tends to garden, while others used for something else, but they are the minority. I hope I will be able to find something good before leaving. Here my first goal is to find the exit, and if I found something's on the then it's also good. I stood up from my spot and carefully look around. 2 ways beside me, one leads to right while other to left. I walked toward the left one, as the right had too many damaged runic formations that make one shudder just looking at. This place may look safe but is extremely dangerous. I may step on something that may activate the dormant formation that could kill me the next moment. I cautiously walk into the hallway, carefully not to touch or step on the wrong formation. Avoiding small and big rubble, I have finally arrived near the door. There seemed to a total of 3 doors on the left side of the hallway before the stairs reached the next floor. I wore the glove artifact before I tried to gently push the door. This door had the runes floating around the door, and I want my hand to cut apart if some formation got activated. Creak. The door made the creaking sound before it started opening. Seeing it is opening, I added even more force against the door, and soon the view of the whole room appeared in front of me. This space cannot be said to be room but the big hall, and this big hall is littered with machines, be it big and small, and looking at robots that are lying around in incomplete form, I could guess that this is an automaton maintenance hall. Fortune, I said as I looked at robots and machines that were lying around ecstatically. These robots do not any value to me, but they are very valuable to others. Guild, Adventurers Paradise, and Central Continent, all of them want these robots and machines. The price they offer more than top-ranked precious plants. I cautiously walk into the hall, careful to not step onto anything I shouldn't. There are to be 10 to 15 robots, but only 3 to 4 of them seem to be good conditions. I walked toward the closest machine on which robot is sprawled up. It looked like it's in middle of the repairs. I cautiously approached and pulled a robot out of the machine, and to my surprise I felt no resistance except for using little more force as the robot is a little heavy. These black color robots are a similar size of the human and their physique also similar to humans. If one would put the thick cloak on them, then nobody would be able to identify them as robots. After putting the first robot in my storage, I moved toward another which is sprawled on the ground and put them in my storage, and about to move toward third when I heard some sound from the corner. Fuck. I saw the runes on the complete robot which was sprawling on the ground started to lighten up one till finally, its eyes light like 2 glowing gems. I did not waste any time activating my swirling armor while taking a step back. If this robot is way beyond my limit, then I wouldn't hesitate to run away from it. After some failed attempt, it finally got up and the runes which were glowing dimly started to glow brighter. I could see it is powering up. From what I have read, it is simply impossible to damage these robots, much less cut into 2. Even the most powerful being in this ruin could not make the scratch on these robots, but that does not mean they are undefeatable. The maker of this ruin had left the small incentive that if one fought against these robots for enough time, these robots will automatically shut off, but one can't count on that incentive anymore, as there have been thousands of years since this ruin was established, and these robots, especially those found in ruined places, have lost most of their commands. There is another scenario that I have read about. Those robots in the ruined place got activated on their reserved power, so also long as I continue to fight it, I will able to dry its reserve and will be able to take this robot. My swirling armor is completely ready with its compactness of 1.24 inches. Earlier I did not have the time to test its power, now I can test against this robot. Hashtag at percent and percent dollar, hashtag at hashtag dollar hashtag percent and asterisk percent, email protected, asterisk percent hashtag asterisk percent at hashtag dollar percent dollar. A sound came out of it. I wasn't able to understand what it said, but the homing band I was wearing translated it perfectly. Intruder detected. Initiate offensive action. Just as I finished hearing the translated version, I found the robot is coming at with very fast speed, and there is no stumble in its movement. Each part of it seemed to be working very properly. As it came at me, it launched a punch. Just hearing the sound of it as it tears through the air, I know it's not a simple move, and that is why I attacked with my full power, holding back nothing. Clank. Thud thud thud. As my sword clashed against its fist, I sensed the immense force traveling inside my body. The force was so great that I had to take the 3 steps back to dissolve it, and I was just midst of stabilizing myself when I heard another punch coming at me. Clank. I hastily swung my sword to defend against the attack while taking the steps back, but like before, it had launched the next attack after it finished the previous. It fucking kept launching attack after attack without giving me a chance to rest, and the worst thing is, it's always seemed to know my weaknesses and attacked exactly that spot. If not for the intuition my killing rule gave me, I would have my bones shattered by one of its punches. Its attacks are really powerful, but they did not reach the power of 3-star elite. If it had the power of 3-star elite, then I would be lying in corner of hall dead with every bone in my body broken despite my small advancement earlier. Clank clank clank. Attack after attack kept coming at me, but now I have got used to its attack that I didn't have to continuously take a step back, and despite it continuously attacking my weaknesses, I was still able to defend myself against it. I am having no problem defending against, but the problem is how much till will I fight, as this robot may have full energy and program malfunction, then it would be able to fight for days, even weeks. What will I do then? Thud. I was just mulling over that question when suddenly robot stopped mid-punch and fell on the ground with a thud as I kept looking at it with my mouth agape. Chapter 498 Automaton Maintenance Hall. The repository mainly used to store the herbs, and each repository used to store specific types of plants or plants that have specific elemental alignment. But not all repositories store the herbs, some used as a storeroom to store the equipment that tends to garden while others used for something else, but they are the minority. I hope I will be able to find something good before leaving. Here my first goal is to find the exit, and if I found something's on the then it's also good. I stood up from my spot and carefully look around. 2 ways beside me, one leads to right while other to left. I walked toward the left one as the right had too many damaged runic formations that make one shudder just looking at. This place may look safe but is extremely dangerous. I may step on something that may activate the dormant formation that could kill me the next moment. I cautiously walk into the hallway, carefully not to touch or step on the wrong formation. Avoiding small and big rubble, I have finally arrived near the door. There seemed to a total of 3 doors on the left side of the hallway before the stairs reached the next floor. I wore the glove artifact before I tried to gently push the door. This door had the runes floating around the door, and I want my hand to cut apart if some formation got activated. Creak. The door made the creaking sound before it started opening. Seeing it is opening, I added even more force against the door, and soon the view of the whole room appeared in front of me. This space cannot be said to be room but the big hall, and this big hall is littered with machines, be it big and small, and looking at robots that are lying around in incomplete form, I could guess that this automaton maintenance hall. Fortune, I said as I looked at robots and machines that were lying around ecstatically. These robots do not any value to me, but they are very, very valuable to others. Guild, Adventurers Paradise, and Central Continent, all of them want these robots and machines. The price they offer more than top-ranked precious plants. I cautiously walk into the hall, careful to not step onto anything I shouldn't. There are to be 10 to 15 robots, but only 3 to 4 of them seem to be good conditions. I walked toward the closest machine on which robot is sprawled up. It looked like it's in middle of the repairs. I cautiously approached and pulled a robot out of the machine, and to my surprise I felt no resistance except for using little more force as the robot is a little heavy. These black color robots are a similar size of the human and their physique also similar to humans. If one would put the thick cloak on them, then nobody would be able to identify them as robots. After putting the first robot in my storage, I moved toward another which is sprawled on the ground and put them in my storage, and about to move toward third when I heard some sound from the corner. Fuck. I saw the runes on the complete robot which was sprawling on the ground started to lighten up one till finally, its eyes light like 2 glowing gems. I did not waste any time activating my swirling armor while taking a step back. If this robot is way beyond my limit, then I wouldn't hesitate to run away from it. After some failed attempt, it finally got up and the runes which were glowing dimly started to glow brighter. I could see it is powering up. From what I have read, it is simply impossible to damage these robots, much less cut into 2. Even the most powerful being in this ruin could not make the scratch on these robots, but that does not mean they are undefeatable. The maker of this ruin had left the small incentive that if one fought against these robots for enough time, these robots will automatically shut off, but one can't count on that incentive anymore, as there have been thousands of years since this ruin was established, and these robots, especially those found in ruined places, have lost most of their commands. There is another scenario that I have read about. Those robots in the ruined place got activated on their reserved power, so also long as I continue to fight it, I will able to dry its reserve and will be able to take this robot. My swirling armor is completely ready with its compactness of 1.24 inches. Earlier I did not have the time to test its power, now I can test against this robot. Hashtag at percent and percent dollar, hashtag at hashtag dollar hashtag percent and asterisk percent, email protected, asterisk percent hashtag asterisk percent at hashtag dollar percent dollar. A sound came out of it. I wasn't able to understand what it said, but the homing band I was wearing translated it perfectly. Intruder detected. Initiate offensive action. Just as I finished hearing the translated version, I found the robot is coming at with very fast speed, and there is no stumble in its movement. Each part of it seemed to be working very properly. As it came at me, it launched a punch. Just hearing the sound of it as it tears through the air, I know it's not a simple move, and that is why I attacked with my full power, holding back nothing. Clank. Thud thud thud. As my sword clashed against its fist, I sensed the immense force traveling inside my body. The force was so great that I had to take the 3 steps back to dissolve it, and I was just midst of stabilizing myself when I heard another punch coming at me. Clank. I hastily swung my sword to defend against the attack while taking the steps back, but like before, it had launched the next attack after it finished the previous. It fucking kept launching attack after attack without giving me a chance to rest, and the worst thing is, it's always seemed to know my weaknesses and attacked exactly that spot. If not for the intuition my killing rule gave me, I would have my bones shattered by one of its punches. Its attacks are really powerful, but they did not reach the power of 3-star elite. If it had the power of 3-star elite, then I would be lying in corner of hall dead with every bone in my body broken despite my small advancement earlier. Clank clank clank. Attack after attack kept coming at me, but now I have got used to its attack that I didn't have to continuously take a step back, and despite it continuously attacking my weaknesses, I was still able to defend myself against it. I am having no problem defending against, but the problem is how much till will I fight, as this robot may have full energy and program malfunction. Then it would be able to fight for days, even weeks. What will I do then? Thud. I was just mulling over that question when suddenly robot stopped mid-punch and fell on the ground with a thud as I kept looking at it with my mouth agape. Chapter 499, Automaton Maintenance Hall. I continued looking at the robot on the ground vigilantly, expecting it to get activated again any moment and attack me, but after waiting for a few minutes, it did not get activated again. Feeling relieved, I quickly stored it in my storage. These robots worth fortune, be it complete or damage, all of them worth fortunes. In these 20 days, I have earned more than 10 times of fortune I have come to this realm expecting, and if I was able to survive till the last day, I will take this all home. With fortune I've earned, I will be able to forge my totem artifact with the best materials, and just thinking about that my eyes started to shine, but I soon calmed myself from my fantasies and collected robots cautiously. After putting all the robots inside my storage, I activated my holowatch and opened the section about the Automaton Maintenance Hall. I have only read about robots, but they are not the only important things in this maintenance hall. These big machines are also very important, though I can't take them seeing their big size and a huge weight. There is something that I can take from them, and that is spare parts of the robots. These are maintenance machines, so it is obvious that they will have spare parts of robots in them, and I want to take those spare parts as their value isn't less than the top precious medicine. I activated my holowatch because I am finding the safe way to open these machines. I don't want to make mistake and get blasted apart by the security function of these machines. The diagrams started to appear in front of me one by one, and I selected them, which looked like these machines around me. I chose the diagram of machine in front of me and started to read the information, opening the machine and collecting the important parts. It took me more than an hour to finish reading, but I got a basic idea of how to open it. If the machines were in working conditions, I would have been able to open them by simply typing some commands on its control pad, but now I have to open it in the old-fashioned way. I took out some morphing tools from my storage and morphed these tools to required tool size that will need to open these machines in the old-fashioned way. This should take a while, I thought as I started to work on the big machine. The normal way would have taken 10 minutes maximum, but this way will take at least an hour. I used various tools on the machine while taking a look at my holowatch now and then. I am not an expert and never work on the machine except for helping my father fixing his medical equipment. But there is a huge difference between them, as the mistake repairing medical machines could give a small shock and break machine at maximum, but here the slightest mistake could kill me directly. I didn't have to do all these. Seeing the fortune I will earn selling these robots outside, even a few incomplete robots would have been enough for me to pay for all the materials I will need for the totem artifact. The reason I am doing this is quite simple. I am doing this because totem artifact is not my only goal now. With the fortune I've been accumulating, several goals have automatically formed in my eyes. The foremost is the occult method and the reward that Sophia and Reina had received from that chance. With me selling these resources to the guild, I should be able to gain enough time to comprehend the occult method that the guild has. The problem would be getting the thing that Sophia and Reina got a reward. Their guild had those things, but their level is too low compared to what Sophia and Reina had. The reward the sister had received is increased their strength on a daily basis. Even if the sisters didn't do any training and just stayed in their room, their strength would keep increasing at the visible pace, that how powerful reward they have received. I have been very jealous of their reward and wished many times that instead of the blood drop that floating in my mind, I would have received the same reward they did. If I had that thing, then I would have to run from that werewolf so desperately. More than an hour had passed, but I wasn't able to finish opening the machine. The problem is machine is too fucking complicated, and top of that I being extremely careful. Another hour had passed and finally, I am able to open the machine and remove the tray which had the spare parts of the robot. The spare parts looked very clean and shiny as if they were manufactured yesterday, not thousands of years ago. The tray is half filled, there are clearly many parts missing, but I am not disappointed as it is more than I had expected. I started to take out things one by one, some parts were open while others were in the case. I started to put them the storage on by one after rechecking their condition. Good, very good. I said when I looked thumb-size yellow crystal in a small case in my hand. If I am not wrong, then this is the energy crystal. Energy crystals are different from the mana crystals. Mana crystals could be used to practice after later levels as they contain quite gentle energy, but energy crystal could not be used for the practice as the energy inside is not suitable for the practice, and also it contains the immense energy that one would just pop if one tried to use the energy crystal for the practice. That is why the energy crystals are used for the power source. This yellow energy crystal's grade is too high and there are not many details about it except for it will fetch the price greater than one complete robot. This is enough for me to know how precious this energy crystal. After this energy crystal, I did not find another energy crystal in the tray, which was really a shame. After finishing with the first machine, I had started on the second machine and finished opening and collecting spare parts inside within 3 hours. Seeing it is already mid-evening, I set up my abode in the maintenance hall as this is the safest and only known place in the repository. This abode I've set up is the lowest grade I have. I don't want to use the high grade one as the fluctuations from it could trigger any waveyard formation in the repository. Since I have set up abode in the repository, there is no underground water. It's good thing I have brought lots of water in my storage, otherwise I would have had slept with the dirty body, just thinking about it enough to make my body shudder. I am not the germaphobe, but I like to take a good bath before sleeping, and if I didn't take that I will feel uncomfortable and won't be able to sleep the whole night. Chapter 500 Skeleton. After waking up the next day, I performed a body cleansing technique and ate the tasty dish made medicinal monsters before I started opening the machines. There are 6 machines are remaining and I plan to open them today. These things worth fortune and I don't plan to leave a single machine unopened. With the practice of yesterday, I had become a little proficient in the opening machine, which had saved me quite a lot of time, and I was able to open all the machines by the late evening. The night passed in silence and the next day I ate body cleansing technique and walked out of maintenance hall. Let's see what is inside the second door, I said as I got out of the maintenance hall and walked toward the door cautiously, avoiding stepping on any ruined restriction. I finally reached the second door and gently pushed it with my gloved hand. This door didn't budge much, and seeing that I was about to leave when I heard the small shaking, so I decided to give the slight push. If it did not open, then I would leave. There is no reason for forcing things and bringing calamity to himself. Creak. With a slightly powerful push, the door finally started to open and I got a clear view of the hall. Another automaton maintenance hall, I said, seeing the familiar machines, but on the careful look, I noticed the difference between the 2 automaton maintenance hall. The automaton maintenance hall I've gone to earlier was that of for the combat robots, while this one is for the utility robots, which job is to tend the garden and collect the matured precious plants. In this room there seemed to be more robots and machines than the previous robotic maintenance hall. Seeing that, I have become ecstatic and cautiously entered the hall. As I enter the hall and I slowly walked around cautiously with my sword in the hand, I want to see if any robot got activated BT my presence, but nothing that sort of happened. Seeing is no reaction from any robots, I happily started collecting them before I started on the machine. I am really happy right now, such fortune rarely comes in one's way. Though it may not as interesting passing the test and getting the price, I preferred things this way. Time passed by as I started opening the machines and started collecting spare parts from them, and to be honest, this constant opening machines and removing parts inside of them had made me feel a little calm. Ever since I had arrived in this realm, I have been constantly on the edge and many times nearly died. That sort thing puts the pressure on one's mind and made one little unstable as the time passed. So, I felt quite good while getting the treasure and relaxing my mind this way, though my situation here is more dangerous than the outside, as any stray runic formation could kill me. Despite knowing that, I felt quite calm when I opened these machines and removed the trays from inside. It felt like finding the treasure. The giddiness I feel whenever I remove the rack is addicting, as there is always surprise attached to it. This time I had got my second energy crystal. Seeing that, I became extremely ecstatic. I did not think that I would get another one, as these energy crystals that are the most important parts of the robots, they can't run without it. It took me 2 days to completely open the machines and took all the robotic spare parts out of them, and to my utter surprise, I found another energy crystal. Now I have 3 energy crystals in total, which is really great. Now I am one step closer to reaching my goal. 2 days later, I got out of second automaton maintenance hall and walked toward the third room while keeping the eyes for any big gap in the formation from where I could exit this repository. I may not have encountered much danger till now, but I know the danger exists at every step here. One wrong step and I will directly reach the underworld without buying a ticket. Spark. SEE. I sucked a deep breath as suddenly 2 ruined rune formations clashed and sparks produced, and one spark hit my hand, nearly charring it whole. I instantly ate a couple of speck of ominous plant's core and quickly took the steps back to avoid any would-be sparks. That spark was really fearsome. It was tiny, but it had nearly charred my hand whole. If that spark would have been a little more powerful, then my hand would be completely charred black. I would have had to eat the ominous seed to regenerate my hand. The spark I had experienced right now was the relatively normal danger, as it had only charred my hand a little. If it would have been big danger, then I would have been either cut into pieces or had turned into the ash. I have to be very careful. 1 second of carelessness and I would become another casualty of this ruin, which I really don't want to. I am still very young and want to live more. Seeing the 2 small formations had separated, I cautiously started to walk toward the third door. I hope this third door also had the automaton maintenance equipment so I could strike rich again. I put my gloved hands against the door and slowly started to apply the pressure on the door, but the door wouldn't budge. Seeing that, I apply even more pressure, but despite that, the door didn't shake. Looks like this door is not fated for me, I said as I removed the hand from the door. I could have easily used 10 times more force that I had been using, but I didn't. I have read that sometimes using excessive force, the defense mechanism of the door got activated, which always is very fatal, that very few people able to survive. Though this happens only sometimes, it still happens, so it's better I control my greed and not take any chances. There are no doors remaining in the hallway anymore. There are many other doors on the right side, but I didn't want to go there as there is a mess of the ruined formations there. I could still see sparks flying there now and then as the stray formation collides against each other. Now and ahead of me are stairs which leads to the floor above, and I have no option to walk ahead, as of right side I can't go and I am not seeing any big crack that I could exit that repository, so walking forward is the only choice despite seeing numerous broken formations floating around. Sigh. Taking a big sigh, I started to walk while avoiding small and big formation that came in my way. In this way I walked about 20 stairs when I stopped as I saw something. It is a skeleton broken into many pieces. I could even see bone ash on some places. It looked like there are at least 100 years had passed since this person died here, which means this person is not from our world, as there had been about 60 years ago when this ruin had appeared in the periphery of our world. I am a little surprised but not shocked, as proof of people from otherworld had been found in this ruin before, and some people had even found very interesting things on the skeletons.